Namaste. It's Leanne Peters here from Temple of Balance. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to share some guidance for Wednesday and Thursday. That's Wednesday the 16th and Thursday the 17th of January. And I'm coming to you live from Tasmania, Australia. Hi Diane, it's Wednesday the 16th here now at exactly 8:26 a.m. Namaste Teresa. Hello Max. Hi Joina, maybe from Iceland. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name properly, but good morning or good evening. Hi Victoria, hi Jennifer, hi Frida and Martha, and Angie's here. Good morning Lana and Lindsay and Patricia. Lovely to see you all. Thanks for stopping by. I trust that you're doing well and things are flowing well for you. If you are struggling, I do trust that you receive some love and support and some maybe some guidance or assistance that you may need. So be open to it, especially if you're struggling. So extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light family, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. Now, if you're new to watching, welcome. What I'm going to be doing today, shock horror. If you're a regular viewer, you will know, but what I'm going to be doing is using my Speed of Light Oracle cards with my Animal Kingdom Oracle cards. I've combined the two decks to make 110 cards, and I'm looking for the best card for Wednesday the 16th, and then the best card for Thursday the 17th of January, and then the best card for the theme for Wednesday and Thursday. I'm not doing personal requests for guidance here today. This is general guidance for everyone. So I trust that you've been led here for a reason, and I trust that something shared will be helpful and supportive for you. So just take on board what feels right, what resonates, and let the rest go. Just think of this as a guide only and allow yourself to be surprised. I have no idea what's going to come through, so I'm going to allow myself to be surprised. I'd much rather do that than have expectations. Expectations tend to block the flow of energy, is what my experience has shown me over many years of exploring expectations. So if you have an expectation in being here, an expectation in your life, an expectation that you're putting onto someone or something, I suggest that you question it. Make sure it's healthy, because it does tend to block the energy and the way it wants to move. So let's see where we're going to steer and where we're going to go today. So take a nice deep breath, catch your breath, especially if you've been busy or if you've been thinking and running around, or you've been dealing with some stuff and you just need to bring yourself into this moment. Just catch your breath, take a deep breath and sit in your heart. And we'll look for the best card for Sunday. Hello Shirley, hi Constance, hi Nikki, lovely to see you all. Thanks for coming and spending some of your time with me today. So I'm shuffling the deck and I'm looking for the best card for Wednesday the 16th of January. So if it's not quite Wednesday for you yet, just think of this as guidance in advance. So Wednesday. Okay, we'll go with this card. It's a Speed of Light. What's it going to be? I have no idea what it is, but I feel a little bit resistant and I feel a little bit anxious about this. Let's see. It's this. Oh, it's the Light Codes card again. Card 41. This has been appearing a lot since the new year. It's card 41, light codes, incoming, information, memories, language. So just by feeling a little bit of resistance or hesitation before I even pulled the card shows that it's important for me to say that we need to be open to receive this new energy that wants to come in. The new energy is not going to come in if we're closed, if we're blocking it, if we're holding ourselves in lack, if we're holding ourselves back. It's not going to come. if we're closed. It's just like, the abundance thing. We could, I feel there's enough for everybody. There's abundance for everybody. And if we when we hold ourselves in a space of lack, that we think and we believe that there's not enough money for me, there's not enough money or finances to go around, that I don't have enough money to pay the bills, if we're holding ourselves in a lack, abundance, financial lack mentality, it's going to close us off to noticing and receiving the abundance that's all around. It's the same sort of thing with this energy that wants to come in, and it may be abundance. In fact, it is abundant energy. It's abundant. And, I feel like it's important for us to realise on Wednesday how open or closed we are to receiving the good things, what we're asking for, or how closed off we are. Are you closed off in your heart? Have you been hurt in love and you've shut your heart down and you refuse to feel love again because you don't want to be hurt like you were hurt before? You're closed off to the beautiful love that you could experience. And it's not necessarily about a connection with another person, but love for life. You're closing yourself off to love in general. Are you closing yourself off in your crown, not allowing yourself to connect, to feel a part of your life, to feel like you belong here, or to receive what you need? Then you're probably, I don't like to use these words, but in some ways you're probably missing out. So our attitude, our approach, our holding back, our holding in a fixed, rigid way, stubborn, expectant way, can close us off. So how open or closed are you on Wednesday? And it's important to be really honest with yourself. Are you letting things flow and move? Are you feeling stuck and stagnant? If you're stuck and stagnant, it's a classic sign that you're holding on, that you're holding on to emotion. You're not letting yourself feel your way through something that you might be dealing with. Here's the puss. She's here to say good morning. So there is new energy that wants to come in for all of us on Wednesday. All of us. Yes, that includes you. If you feel you're not deserving, you're doubting that it exists, that you're not worthy, that you're scared of change, that it's not here for you, then you're holding yourself away from it. You're shutting the door and not letting it come in. So those of us who are open to it, and those of you who may be opening the door a little bit and realising that, hey, I might be more closed off than I realised. It's time to open the door and not be afraid of love. Not be afraid of the new that wants to come in. Not be afraid of abundance, of change. It brings change. Those of us who are open to it and are opening to it, let's welcome it. Let's be grateful for the new that's all around us and the new that's coming in to our life, that's coming into our body. There's an electric charge to the air, to the energy right now. And it's bringing new energy in. It's bringing new ideas, new inspirations. It's helping us remember who we are. So let's remember on Wednesday to allow ourselves to be open, if we're open to that, so that we can receive all this juicy, good energy that's coming in. We can trust that it's good for us. Some people ask me, well, I hope it's good for me. I hope it's good energy. Why wouldn't it be? It's only going to be potentially not good energy if we're closed off to the good and we're expecting the worst. If we're open to what we need for our highest truth, we can trust that it will be what we need. So yes, great, abundant, new energy is coming in. It's going to force us to change. So if we're scared of that, let's let that go too, because that will close us off. So there's a lot in this. This feels full. It feels like a beautiful, fully pregnant woman about to drop a baby. And she's full. And she's scared. But she's full. So there's an enriching, full energy around for Wednesday. We're preparing to step into the new and birth new things. So we have to let the new come in to help pave that path. So that's Wednesday's guidance. Light codes, incoming energy, but remaining open as we can be. So what I would suggest, and what I'm constantly doing, is surrendering and releasing. Always. All day long, I'm surrendering and making sure, checking in with myself, making sure I'm open as I can be, that I'm not holding myself back through self-doubt. I dropped out. Have I gone? Ugh! Well, I don't know. It seems to be still working here, Jennifer, if you can hear me. Oh, congratulations, Jessica. So yeah, the pregnant energy inspires new beginnings, new energy. So we have to be willing to surrender, release, let go, release our hold of the old. We have to let the old door close, if you like, or maybe let the old door open so we can explore what the old is, what we've shut back in there, so we can clear it out and make room for the new. It's a bit like having a wardrobe. I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. It's a bit like if we were a wardrobe and we were full of boxes and junk and spider webs and dust, and we crammed all this old stuff in us as this wardrobe, avoiding looking at those boxes. Excuse me, I'm having a bit of a sneeze. And we avoided looking at those boxes and the albums and the memories and the old things, and we just stored it inside us somewhere. And we closed the door, jammed it shut so that the old stuff wouldn't come out. It's time we look at that old stuff now, because it's filling up the space where the new stuff wants to come in. So what do you need to make room for, or what do you need to clear out? A lot of us are clearing the clutter in our life on all different levels. So if you're inspired to have a big clean out or clear out, it may be part of bringing or clearing the old energy out so you're open and receptive to the new coming in. So see what inspires you. So if you're inspired to clear out, clear out. If you're holding yourself back, recognize it and think about what you can do. Anna says, what's the best way to allow ourselves to be open? Allow ourselves to be open is definitely in surrendering the old and thinking about or being aware of what, usually in the heart, we're closed off to. So what are you closed off to? What are you inflexible about? What are you trying to defend or justify or explain that you don't need to? What are you barricading yourself behind? So to open, you need to recognize what's closing you. So think about surrendering to your breath, surrendering to the sun, the wind, the stars, and releasing your burdens and things like this. I mean, there's no strict rule, so I'm just sort of sharing a few things that work for me that I'm inspired to talk about now, but there are no rules, there's no fixed way. In fact, there's so many different things that you could do. So a willingness to surrender and a willingness to open. You might even like to use affirmations like, I'm open, I'm willing to change. We'll always shift things. Because sometimes our closed state is because we are not willing to change. We might not be willing to let go of our comfort zone. We might not be willing to forget. Or sometimes people think that when we let go, especially if it's grief, that we have to forget. I always feel that letting go doesn't mean that we have to forget someone, especially someone that we might be grieving for. That we can hold the special memories in our heart like a precious photo album. To let go and to let ourselves move on from something that holds us in a stagnant space like grief is to find acceptance. Because I find with grief especially that it's very difficult to accept, and that's the thing that usually holds people back the most, is our difficulty in finding acceptance. So when we can find acceptance and know in our heart that those memories will never die, our connection with our loved one will never ever die, that gives us permission to sort of release the reins, the hold that has over us, so that we can keep flowing forward. So what's holding you back, what's holding you stagnant, will be the key in helping you move forward or helping you open up. So that's just some thought. Everything I share is just my thoughts based on my experience, and it's definitely not scripted, it's not the rules, it's not the only way, it's just my way that works for me. And I always share in a non-expectant way that, that you will just take on what feels right, what resonates with you, and think about it a little bit perhaps, and just let the rest go if it doesn't make sense. So I don't want you to believe everything I say. I'm just here sharing my experience and my thoughts. So I'm now looking for the best card for, good morning, the best card for Thursday the 17th of January. So let's see, what will it be? I'm giving the cards a good shuffle, so we'll see what it is. It's a Speed of Light Oracle card, and it's this. Oh, this is so perfect. It's card 24, called Expanded Love. And just those words themselves are so descriptive or perfect for what's the energy is right now. Expanded love, expanding love. The key words say productivity, teamwork, and holding space. Holding space. Holding space for ourselves so that we can heal, so we can surrender, so we can unclose ourselves, open ourselves up perhaps. But there is an element of this card, a big element, that talks about being productive and working well with others. So if we're feeling productive, let's run with that energy. Let's work on those projects, tie up those loose ends, be proactive in releasing what we're holding on to so that we can open up and allow ourselves to move further and further into the flow. When we're in the flow, it's not something that we just have overnight. It's something we're constantly, well for me, I'm constantly moving into. I've been living in the flow since my hairdressing days back when I was in my early 20s, when I recognised that I was learning structured ways of cutting hair and styling hair, which is great as a beginner foundation. But as I became more advanced in my hairstyling and hair cutting, I realised that you can't cut everybody's hair in these four structures of hair cutting, that there's so much to take into account when we're cutting hair. The way it grows, how thick it is, how dense it is, how curly or straight it is, and the direction it moves, because it grows in a spiral from the crown. So there's so many things to take into account that I started thinking about, that I want to start cutting the hair with the way it flows and the way it moves. And that was my first kind of window into exploring going with the flow, was cutting hair with the way it flowed, more freehand rather than in a structured box of 4 different hairstyles. And it's the same when we move into the flow in our life. It's a deepening. It's something that we're always surrendering and opening up to constantly. I mean, I've been doing it for 20 odd years, and I'm still know that there's further flow that I can move into. So there's more that there's a depth that I can reach, and it's not something that we reach overnight and we suddenly have and we're suddenly in the flow. We're constantly releasing, surrendering, and moving into that flow, and moving with the movement of our life and getting more comfortable with that movement, understanding it more deeply. So this is a deep flow of love. There's a deep sense here of productivity, of proactivity, as we proactively look at clearing, cleaning, sorting things out, doing things in our life, especially on Thursday. And we do it from a space of love because we want to, isn't it? It's because we want to, not because we have to. So releasing the hold of our obligations, Not saying that we shouldn't do anything that we're obligated to do. Sometimes I handle my obligations and the things that I'm obligated to do first and get them out of the way, and as a reward I do the things I want to do. So we have things that we're obligated to do in everyday life. But, you know, how can we bring more love and less duty to our obligations? Can we accept them a little bit more and dive a little bit more into our obligations so that we can bring more love and connection into what we're doing? That we're kind of, oh, this is such a drag to be doing, because we might want to be doing something else. So maybe looking at our balance with our obligations and the things that we want to do, and how we can bridge the gap a little bit more. So there's less contrast between, oh, I have to do this, or I can't wait to do that. How can we merge them together a little bit more so there's less contrast? That's a bit of a feeling around for Thursday too. So how can we bring our whole heart into what we're doing and be proactive if we're feeling that? So basically this is running with our energy levels, running with how we feel. If we feel proactive, let's be proactive. If we're feeling slower moving, let's just deal with the things that have to be done while we honour our slower moving state. That's part of being in the flow. So that's our card for Thursday the 17th. It's expanded love. It's about productivity, teamwork, but holding ourselves and our activities in a space of love and acceptance. So especially thinking about our obligations, if they've been a bit of a chore. If they've become a bit of a chore, maybe think about how can you see this in a different way? How can you approach this from a different light or a different angle? So I trust that makes sense for you. And thank you. So now I'm looking for the best card for the theme for Wednesday and Thursday. So before I pull the theme card, just a reminder for our Sydney friends, we will be in Sydney in exactly 2 weeks. 2 weeks today on the 30th of January, Wednesday the 30th. And we'll be hanging out just at a Sydney Park, actually at Sydney Park, from 10 a.m. till about 1. At 11:30 there'll be a cleansing ceremony I'll be doing with the drum and some smudging. You're very welcome to stop in. It's free. So stop by if you want to. If you're in the area, you have a little bit of time on the Wednesday. So that's in 2 weeks. We would love to see you there. I'll have a few Temple of Balance products, but not many, because we're just flying over for a very short visit. So I'd love to see you. Have a look in the events tab on my Facebook page or on my website if you want to learn more, or let me know. So I'm looking for the theme card. The theme card will help bring these days together and help us see the bigger picture for Wednesday and Thursday. So the bigger picture is another Speed of Light Oracle card. So we're really being hit. Like, I see this deck, the Speed of Light Oracle, as very direct and very much aligned with the current energy and the truth. So there's a strong energy coming through. I can tell just by having 3 of these come up for these 3 cards. Well, maybe there's not going to be just these. So this is a featured card. It has further instructions here which say to fan out the deck and take an extra card. And look at that, we've got an animal card. Oh, it's another featured card. It's the timing card, which says take the second card from the top, which is this. Filters. Very interesting with all I've been talking about. I love how these all lock in together. So we have 3 cards for the theme. The reason we have 3 cards is because these decks have a few featured cards. If you're not familiar with the decks. So we're going to look at these cards separately, and then we're going to look at their relationship together. They've come up together for a reason. So let's find out why. This is the Shaman, card 17. It says solitude, grounding, mending, privacy, and reassess. This brings a private element to Wednesday and Thursday where we may feel like we just want our own space. It may not be the whole 2 days, but for the most part, as a general theme, some of us may feel like we just want to be private. We may feel a bit withdrawn, if you like. So what we're needing, some of us, is some private time, a private space to heal, to mend, to reassess our life, to connect with ourselves. I know for me, because I attended this incredible Maori workshop just for a few hours on Saturday, and it was just incredible. I can't even find words to describe how it was. It was just incredible. And I've been very much in this space for that, just really sitting in the feeling of it, and letting myself digest it. So there might be some of us who are sort of sitting in a space with something just so we can process and digest how we feel about that. How did that impact us? What do we want to do with this information? How are we going to implement it in our life? So a lot of this sort of deep thought going on, and we might be doing it very privately. We might not be feeling very if only you could read my thoughts, because that'll be easier. We might not feel that it's very easy right now to put words to how we feel. And I've been saying that all week. So, some of us are feeling quite deep, and it's quite difficult to put a word from our language to describe the depth of feeling. And it's the same as that iceberg thing, isn't it? It's like a word, trying to find a word that might be describing the tip of an iceberg when the feeling is the whole iceberg. And it's very interesting. An interesting challenge is the limitation of language at the moment. Now, also coming up with the theme is this timing card. It's a featured timing card. It's the lunar cycle, card 53. The cat so thinks I'm talking to her. She's laying back, staring at me, purring. It's so cute. So this talks about 1 month. It talks about the lunar cycle. So this whole section of cards here, there's a 1 month relevance. And it's interesting because in exactly 1 month is our retreat, our Tasmania Healing Retreat, 1 month from yesterday. So in 1 month's time, those of you coming to the retreat, it will be retreat time. And we are doing a lot of preparing for that as well. But for those of us who those of you who aren't coming to the retreat, there's a 1 month cycle here with something. So between now and the middle of February is important. And we'll put all these things together in a moment. And the other card that came with these is the filters card, card 26. And the keywords say beliefs, cancel, delete, clarity, and awareness. This reminds us to be really aware or observant of our own filters, which in other words we could say the way that we're distorting the truth or distorting what's really going on. We could say, when we put rose-coloured glasses on and we see the world through rose-coloured glasses or brown-coloured glasses, grey-coloured glasses, we see the world and the world sees us the way that it comes through our filters, the way that, depending on how we're feeling or what we're distorting from within ourselves. I don't know if you remember in a video I did, it might have been the one on Monday, where I said how we see men, male figures in our life, directly connects to our own relationship or connection or lack of with our inner masculine energy. How we see females around us, so if we're having female figure issues or if we're seeing beautiful females all around us, they are reflecting directly our relationship or how our inner feminine energy is. So when we're feeling disconnected in ourselves, if we're feeling disconnected and we have all these male issues, sorry, beautiful men that are connecting, but just as an example to explain this a bit further, if we're feeling angry at men because one man did something or what have you, and we're then feeling angry at that, we're going to start seeing men or the male, beautiful, gorgeous warrior male humans around us through that filter of our wound or our issue that we're holding on to. Now, we can also take this back to what I said for Wednesday's guidance about having a closed heart, because let's say we've been hurt in love, or we might be deeply grieving, so we closed our heart off to protect ourselves. It's going to be very difficult to feel any form of love, whether it's a special connection with someone, a special connection with ourselves, or even just a sense of love for life, because we're closed off and we're feeling wounded in the heart or wounded in love. Now, this in turn distorts how we see things and how we see people, because we're filtering it through our wounded heart. Now, there are a few examples of what I'm saying in regards to this card, how we may be distorting what's really going on. So it's going to be really important for some of us over Wednesday and Thursday to look at our own wounds, look at our issues that we're seeing reflected in our life and how that relates to our own personal wounds, so we can clear ourselves and clear the distortion. So you may be noticing that you're blowing some things out of proportion, that you might not be seeing things how they truly are. One other thing I notice when I'm in a wounded space and I'm seeing things through my wounded eyes, I notice big communication issues, because I'm not communicating with myself. Every time there's a communication issue, usually with those closest to us, because they're the ones that rebound that energy the strongest. But if we're noticing that, hey, that person's not listening, why does that person have a communication issue? Why are they not speaking clearly? If we're noticing communication issues across the board, it always, from what I've noticed, when we're honest with ourselves, comes back to where we're lacking in communication with ourselves. So stuff might be going on that we're noticing. We, in some ways, I'm not saying it's not real because it feels real, are distorting what's playing out through our own wounds or our own filters. So it's important for some of us who this resonates with on Wednesday and Thursday, because this is the theme, to be aware of that. So awareness is the key. Listen to your thoughts. Notice what you're reacting to. Notice how you feel inside as you react to something, as you overreact perhaps to something. Just notice it and maybe explore it a little bit in your journal and look at being willing to find the wound, the issue that this is connected to. So now, with that long-winded explanation of this, let's just join these up together. So you might find that some or all of these resonate with you separately, and that's okay. Let's just briefly look at these together, potentially, if this makes sense to you. So over the next 1 month, we're being encouraged to embrace our private time, to heal, to mend, to reassess, to digest, to process what we've been going through, and also give ourselves, about a month perhaps, but not fixating on time sometimes, to let ourselves clear these filters. There's not something we're probably going to do, or definitely not going to do overnight, because it's a new way of living. We get into the habit of living with filters. We get into the habit of distorting things to fit our wound. We get into the habit of defending ourselves, of reacting and overreacting. We get into the habit of that. So to break a habit, we need at least 3 weeks to break it with full attention, full awareness, and a full willingness to basically a full willingness to change who we are. We have to be willing to change who we are because we've got into the habit of distorting the truth. So we might need to spend time, private time, persisting in breaking our habits that are distorting the truth. And so if you're struggling with overwhelm and you're struggling with different things in your life, it may be worth really now looking at what's my part in this? How can I take responsibility for my role? And how can I start changing myself? Like I've said many times, one of the most powerful affirmations with all this stuff I've been talking about is I am willing to change. I am willing to change. I am willing and open to changing. Because if we're not willing and open to changing, we're just going to hold ourselves in that distorted, wounded way. And we deserve so much more than that. Those that we love, those that we share our life with, deserve so much more than that, than living with a crabby person who overreacts and distorts what's really going on. So let's own our wounds. Let's have the courage to look at it, and let's take steps on, a longish term basis over the next month. Let's make a commitment to ourselves over the next month to look at these habits and break them. And yes, be willing to change if that's what you want. It's difficult to see that if we think other people all have the problem. So what I suggest is softening that thought that other people have the problem and recognizing that, hey, I'm in charge of my life. I take some responsibility here. Well, I'm overreacting, so I am taking responsibility for my overreaction at the very least. And it's time to get my power back. So let's stop giving our power away so that other people are at fault, and recognise that, hey, we can do something about it. Even if we just change our approach or our attitude, can change so much stuff. So lots and quite in depth, which is definitely the theme for this week. It's been very in depth since the weekend, so I'm not surprised. So it's been a lot in this. It's been quite full, like that beautiful pregnant woman I talked about at the beginning. So you may want to come back and just reconnect with this and just digest the parts that really stand out at the time, rather than letting your mind boggle too much. If it's mind boggling at the minute, just let yourself settle with what stands out and come back. Even if it's later, next week, next month, come back and remind yourself of the important information within this sharing, if you're inspired to. So thanks for joining me. I've used my Speed of Light Oracle cards combined with my Animal Kingdom Oracle cards. You can learn more about these decks. I created them completely. So if you want to learn more about them or add them to your collection, just have a look on my website at templeofbalance.com.au. If you enjoyed the video, then you know what to do. Please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love, some of your beautiful love. Please comment or share if you're inspired to. And if you want to connect more privately, just send us a message through our website. So we have our Sydney event in 2 weeks. I've got new pendants on the website. You're very welcome to have a look if you want to. And if you want to learn more about me and the work that I do, if you resonate with my approach and my way and my quirkiness, I guess, then you might find something valuable and resourceful on my website. So please have a look at templeofbalance.com.au. I do so much more than just this. I create arts, I do drawings, spirit guide drawings, meditations. I've got Pillar of Light family you might enjoy. I do some supportive services. I've written 11 books. I've released 3 card decks. There's so much on my website if you want to have a look. We've got events coming up too around Australia, and some online ones coming up I'm going to organise. So if you want to learn more, just have a look on my website at templeofbalance.com.au. Thank you so much for spending your precious time with me today. I really appreciate it, and I really trust that you've been enriched and that something has helped nourish you and give you some food for thought. I'd love to be able to give you food for thought, where you can sit with that and go, actually, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that and see if it works for me. And if you try it and it works for you, then that's, excuse my French, bloody brilliant. So thank you for being proactive in your life, because it's us as individuals that change the world. Not when we look at the problems and we finger point and we invest so much energy and attention in the problems in the world or the problems with people. We need to look at the problems within ourselves and start changing who we are, so we can all stand up tall as strong and powerful, honest pillars of light, and support each other as we prop up this amazing temple, this amazing world that we're within. It starts with us. So thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it very, very much, more than words can say. So sending you lots of love from my heart to yours, and I trust you have a fantastic Wednesday and Thursday. I'll do my best to be back Friday. I'm actually going camping on Thursday just for one night with one of my sisters and her daughter and my daughter. So we're going to have a girls' camping trip tomorrow. So I'm sure I'll share some pictures at the very least. But I'll be back on Saturday if I'm not here on Friday. So thanks so much. Sending you lots of love and namaste. Namaste means that the divine, the creator in me, honours and acknowledges and loves the divine, the creator in you. That we are equal, we are one. So let's continue to do our best to stand tall as pillars of light by being ourselves, getting to know who we are, loving who we are, doing our best. So thank you and namaste. And for someone that struggled to find words to explain how they feel, has not done a bad job for today. I've talked and talked and talked, so thanks for hanging around. Bye.